What's up guys, it's ZG, and in this video I'm bringing you guys the next episode in my Easy Flawless series. Basically we go in depth with all the subclasses in the game to help perk your guardians out for Trials of Osiris. The last couple videos I did were for the Warlock, so we're going to switch things up and look over at our Titans here, starting with the Sunbreaker. Now as always, as long as these videos can get 120 likes each, we will continue to do them, going over all the subclasses, the Hunters, the rest of the Titans, all that stuff. So make sure you guys drop a like on this video, get it to 120 likes so we can do the next video. Both the Warlock videos have gotten over 500 likes each, so I know you guys can do it. So with that, let's just get right into it. Now, if you guys want to see any of these perk sets in action, you can just check out my Flawless Runs playlist, link down below. Every time that I post one of these videos, it's basically matching one of the Flawless, so you can just go through. I don't know off the top of my head what ones I've used each class, but if you see me using a certain class that you like in Trials, these videos match that class. So feel free to check out that playlist. Now up front with the Sunbreaker, you want to focus on intellect and discipline. The strength for most Titan subclasses just isn't very good. It has the least amount of range in the game, and it's just not a very potent thing for you to focus your stats into. So you want to focus on intellect and discipline. Moving into the subclass, we have our grenades, the fusion grenade, thermite grenade, and the incendiary grenade. We run fusion grenade. It's the sticky grenade. Right now it's really settled itself into the meta. You're seeing a lot of it as of recently, and I gotta say it's a great way of getting quick picks. It's a great way of surprising your enemy and just having them dealt with, and they're very magnetic as well, so they very easily stick to your opponent. So I run fusion grenade. The only other option that I would use personally is the incendiary grenade, and these date back to the old Halo days where you used to throw grenades off of walls and off the ground to activate them. So if you're really good at stuff like that, then maybe the incendiary grenade is for you, but for me, I run sticky grenades. Next, we have our jump. You want to focus on increased control. It's really the only option, especially in PvP. It's the only way that you can Titan skate, close those very large gaps, and that's really what the Titan is good for, especially with the Titan skate, is closing very large gaps, and the only way that you can do that is with increased control. Now, PvE content, maybe you'd be running increased height to do some extra exploring or something like that, but in PvP you want to be running increased control. Next, for our Hammer of Soul, we have Forge Master, throw more hammers, and hammers cause bigger explosions. Sun Charge, hurl yourself towards your enemies and they explode, chaining fiery damage to other enemies. And Scorched Earth, ignite the world, creating sunspots everywhere your Hammer of Soul impacts. Now, there is an entire sunspot build that I will show you guys, but in Trials of Osiris, what we're going to be running here is Sun Charge. And the main reason I run Sun Charge is because it's a very versatile way to change up your Hammer of Soul. It can actually be very surprising. The only downfall of Sun Charge is how much super energy it uses, so you do have to be a little bit conservative with it, but you can gain some pretty easy skill with this, and it'll kill a Night Stalker mid-bow, a Striker Titan mid-slam. It's just a very strong and surprising perk for your Hammer of Soul. Now, the only other option that you have really is Forge Master, and that just makes your hammers even better. So you could run this, especially if you're good at throwing the hammers, but for me, I like being able to surprise my enemy. I like being able to catch them off guard with a Sun Charge, and it really has saved my life in multiple occasions. So that's what I run, and the only other option, like I said, is Forge Master. Moving on to the melee, we have the Sunstrike, and we have Melting Point, Thermal Vent, and Stroke the Forge. I run Melting Point because if I'm at the point, especially with my Titan, where I am meleeing, that's it. I've already shotgunned, I've already closed that gap. This is my last ditch effort, and burning away your target's defenses. While burning, targets are weakened to both you and your allies. So basically, if your buddy has to clean up this kill, it's going to be a lot easier for him to do so because you're basically giving him a more damage for that enemy. So that's why I run Melting Point. I wouldn't really run anything else. If you're focused on that Sunspot build, you could run Thermal Vent. Sunstrike releases a solar explosion on hit, and kills create a sunspot that damages enemies inside. I don't see this sunspot build very much in Trials, and I think it's because it's not, those sunspots just aren't good. It does create some zoning capabilities, but they're just not big enough and they're not strong enough, so I don't run anything like that. I'm going to run Melting Point 99% of the time because it's just really the best option in Trials. Now here, because we're a Titan, I'm not going to say that you have to run max armor. I still run max armor, but if you wanted to run Titan Codex 5, which lowers your armor just a little bit but gives you a lot more recovery, that's pretty good as well. But typically you want to be running maxed armor in Trials of Osiris. I've said this before and I will say it again in every one of these videos. It will be the difference between a 4-4 win and a 4-4 loss. It will save your life 99% of the time. You should be running maxed armor every single time in Trials of Osiris. So in this middle tree we have Flame Seeker. Your Hammer of Soul will alter its flight path to seek out your enemies. Explosive Pyre, enemies felled by your hammer explode, chaining fiery solar damage to others. And then Fleet Fire, enemies felled by your fire grant you bonus agility and reload speed, stacks up to 3 times. Now for me, I would prefer to use Flame Seeker. It basically gives your hammers tracking, and in a meta where there's a lot of Shade Step, there's a lot of Twilight Garrison, a lot of movement in the game, especially in Trials, this can really help. It actually does have some really good tracking capabilities. It will completely move to the left or right based on where the target is, and that's just what I like to use. Explosive Pyre, it's alright, that's more of a PvE thing. And then Fleet Fire, it can be good, especially if you're doing some sort of agility build like with Midas or something like that, and it can be good, really good with stickies. But typically, because we're so focused on our super, I'm going to run Flame Seeker. And in this last tree here, we have Simmering Flames. When super energy is full, grenade and melee abilities recharge twice as fast. Cauterized, enemies brought down by your fire regenerate your health. And Firekeeper, while standing in a sunspot, you gain an overshield and Hammer of Soul lasts longer. We run Cauterized here. It goes extremely well with Sun Charge, because right after you get that Sun Charge, maybe you were hit with a shotgun, maybe you were hit with some sort of super damage, and this is going to give your health right back. Very potent perk. Really kind of is the only option, especially in Trials. If you absolutely wanted to do that Sunspot build, you could run Firekeeper, but again, Sunspots in Trials of Osiris, it's just not what you want to be using. So Cauterize is going to be the perk for you there, and that's all of your fire. So that's grenades, that's melee, that's your super. If you hit somebody or kill somebody, I should say, with your fire, you will regenerate your health. So that's very good. So basically that's the perk tree. Going over it one more time, we have Fusion Grenade, Increased Control, Sun Charge, Melting Point, Max Armor, Flame Seeker, and Cauterized. And that's basically never going to change. That is my Trials of Osiris Sunbreaker class build. Now as far as exotics go, I wanted to mention this in these Titan videos. The Titan exotics are very good. They're very versatile for all the subclasses. The Titan doesn't really have a ton of subclass specific exotics. So typically I like to run the Dune Marchers with this class. I just got these and I've actually been testing them out, and I really like them. Let me know down below how you feel about these, you Titans out there, but I really do like them. Increased sprint speed, move faster with aimed weapon, and tighter sprinting turn radius. Basically everything that your Titan does with its feet, it gets a buff. So I really like it. I found that, especially with the focus on movement right now in the meta, it really is a very good exotic. And I like running these kinds of exotics with roaming supers like the Sunbreaker and stuff like that, because it really can change up your game. And the only other one that I would use is the Crest of Alpha Lupi, especially for this class. And as you guys can see, I have increased armor on this roll when using a solar based subclass, because I don't know, for whatever reason, on my solar subclasses, be it Gunslinger, Sunsinger, Sunbreaker, I always run my crest or my fast res on these classes. I'm not sure if it's because these classes don't have a lot of exotics geared toward them, but I always have the solar roll on my fast res exotics, and it's just what I prefer to use. But mostly with any Titan subclass, you have so many versatile exotics. You could run the Armamentarium and do just fine. Of course, Twilight Garrison is a beast. You can use that to great success in Trials of Osiris. So with the Titan, you have so many different options, but if I had to choose two for my Sunbreaker, I'd be running Dune Marchers and my Crest of Alpha Lupi. So those are going to be the two exotics that I run with this. And then finally for loadouts, mainly with my solar subclasses, again, because of the burning capabilities and stuff like that, I like to run auto rifles. As you guys can see here, I've got the Doctrine here as well, because with this class specifically, it's just how I like to run it, because as they're burning, you can continue to do that rapid fire. So even high fire rate weapons like Clever Dragon or Grasp of Malik are really good with these kind of classes, because they continuously burn and you're able to keep that damage on them. And you don't have to really worry about being super precise. So I really like using auto rifles, high fire rate weapons with the solar subclasses. And then of course I run my shotgun. It's just the meta right now. I typically won't snipe on anything but my hunter, really any hunter, but usually because of the skating abilities of the warlock, of the Titan, how fast they can close gaps, shotgun is the way to go, especially in this meta. So that's usually not going to change. But that's about everything, guys. I really hope you guys do enjoy this kind of content. I really like making these videos, and a lot of you seem to enjoy them. A lot of you seem to learn from them. So I hope that I'm helping you guys out just a little bit more. But again, 120 likes and we move on to the next subclass. Let me know what you guys want to see next down below. But other than that, it's been your boy. Subscribe if you're new. I'll catch you guys in the next video. It's been ZG and I'm out. Peace.